Hello, my friends. Welcome. My name is Joe. This is the Joe Martino Show. And today we're going to revisit a topic that might actually be a theme this year, which is you just have to keep going. You know, one of the realities of life is we may not have to win the whole game right now. We might just have to stay in the game for the next minute, for the next 10 minutes, for the next 30 seconds. Let's kick it off. This is the Joe Martino Show.
You're listening to The Joe Martino Show, a podcast dealing with all things emotional, relational, and human nature. Joe is a licensed counselor in the state of Michigan, specializing in relationship therapy. He is also the author of the book, The Emotionally Secure Couple. All advice offered in this episode is offered for entertainment and educational purposes only. Enjoy the show.
All right, welcome. I hope that today's going well for you, wherever today is for you. I hope that it is a good day. And I want to be transparent with you. On the day that I'm recording this, there's all sorts of stuff going through my head. You're tired. Just sit down and stop. Just quit. This could go wrong. That could go wrong. This did go wrong. This thing that you're trying to do, even though there's been hopeful movement, it probably won't work out. There's just this, is it cacophony? Cacophony? I'm not sure how to say that word. There is a chorus of negativity running through my head. People have let me down. People that I have trusted, have given my trust to, have betrayed me. And I'm left holding the bag. And it's hard. And this is not like my wife or my kids. Don't get anybody get excited. But life is hard. And right now my life is hard. And my wife and I were talking about it and we were like, hey, we went on vacation last October. It was amazing. And then December 12th, this thing happened and we couldn't quite get our fingers on it. We couldn't quite grasp it. And these troubles have snowballed, right? And from the outside, people are like, oh, you've gone on this vacation and that vacation and you travel. Yeah, and it's all good because life is about the good and the bad. But I cannot tell you how many people I have talked to just this week. And they're like, man, I don't know that I can go on with this. I don't know that I can keep going this way. I had 5 clients tell me back to back to back to back to back. I just feel like I can't get ahead. I feel like no matter what I do, life is this cosmic force that is just throwing haymakers at my head and it's connecting. And I can look at them and say, yeah, me too. I get it. And the more people I talk to, not even in session, people I'm running into at coffee shops and at the grocery store and at church, just not sure if they can keep going. They're like, Joe, it's been so hard. It has been so hard. I've talked to people who are like, I don't know how I'm paying my bills. There are bills that I'm not paying. I'm living off of credit cards to make my payments. I've talked to business owners who are like, I don't know that I'm going to see January 1 and still be in business. I've talked to people who have lost loved ones, some through accidents, some through natural causes, some by suicide. And they're all like, I don't know how I'm going to get through the upcoming holiday season. And people are discouraged. People are weary. People are tired. And like we're starting the school year and people are like, holy cow, I don't know. Like, do I have the energy to get through the school year? Do my kids have the energy to get through the school year? Do we have the family energy to get through the school year? That's what people are wrestling with as they lean into school, as they lean into whatever's coming next. They're wondering, do I have what it takes to get it done? And I'm here to say, you're asking the wrong question. When I get to that spot, and there are times that I do, today is one of those where as I'm driving down the road, all of the hard is just screaming in my head. And when I get to those days, I realize I don't need to ask the question, do I have the energy to get through the next season? I just need to ask myself, do I have the energy to get through the next part of the season? The next thing. I love baseball. I like sports, but I really like baseball. And one of the things I like about baseball is you don't win the game in the first inning. I almost said the first quarter. That's football. Football's starting. Fall games are just kicking off. You don't win the game in the first quarter. You don't really lose it in the first quarter. Now, you can do things that certainly set you up and certainly make the next 3 quarters more difficult, the things that make the next 8 innings more difficult. But you have to play all 8 innings. But here's the thing. In baseball, I don't have to play the 9th inning until I get there. I don't even have to do my next at bat until I'm in the batter's box. If you don't know baseball, none of this is making sense. But you don't have to do the next thing until you're there. And there is this reality that if you can just keep moving, you're going to be okay. Maybe you will fail. Maybe whatever it is that's hard, that's screaming in your brain, that is bad is coming, maybe that will come. And maybe you will struggle to be whatever it is you're aiming to be. Maybe you will fail at whatever the project is that you're trying to start. Maybe you will not make it. Maybe you'll start a business and it will fail. Maybe you'll write a book and no one will read it. Maybe, see, that one's mine, right? Either one of those could be me, right? Maybe you'll get married and it won't work. Maybe your kids will not talk to you. Maybe you'll trust someone and they'll betray you. Maybe all of those things are true. But can you keep moving? If you know why you started, you just keep moving. You do not have to solve whatever problems are coming for your children's school in October when it's September or August for some of us. It's crazy, right? Like there's just all of these things. I get it for myself. I don't know about you, but I get it for myself. When we roll into August, I know two things are happening. I typically love August weather in Michigan, and I lament how fast summer went, and I hate that we go back to school before Labor Day. I hate it because it's just less time with my kids. And I know once school starts, and there's especially my older kids, their busy schedule, they're just running nonstop, and I don't see them, and it's hard. It's harder than the summer. And then my brain says, yeah, but dude, this summer's been hard. Yeah, it has. And there's been a lot of weird things that have happened. There's been a lot of things that have happened. Can I keep moving? Can I find the energy to just go for one more minute? And some of the people I run into, sometimes when I talk about this with clients, they say, dude, I feel like I've been doing that. Awesome. Then just do one more. Just keep moving. Ignore the voices in your head. Now, look, I'm not saying all or nothing. I'm going to do an episode here about parenting because I'm getting a lot of emails from people who are like, well, I took your advice and I don't do anything. I'm like, whoa, that is not what I'm saying, right? So don't get caught in all or nothing thinking here. I'm not saying it just totally ignore them. You do what you can, and then when that's enough, when you've done what you can, then you just keep moving. Back to the sports analogy, when I would coach teams, I'd meet with my coaching staff. I'd be like, you know what? I don't know that we're better than the team that we're about to play. But we will do everything we can to be prepared, to wring out every ounce of talent that we have. And we'll see what happens. And then we'll find energy to move on. I think it was Pat Summitt said, winning is nice, but it's not actually about winning. It's far more about, can you keep yourself chasing excellence? And maybe you're like, Joe, I don't want to chase excellence. I'd be happy with mediocrity right now. Okay, I don't think that's a great long-term plan, but awesome. Can you keep moving? Just keep moving. Just do what you control. Do the scary thing. Send the book proposal out. Go ask that person on a date. Go ask your wife on a date. Go ask your husband on a date. Go initiate sex. Go see if one of your kids wants to go get coffee, and make it your goal just to talk about them, to ask them good questions. Can you keep moving? I believe you can. The question is, do you? Cut the toxic person out. I talk to people all the time. They're like, hey, my parent is toxic. My sibling is toxic. My ex is toxic. My neighbor is toxic. Awesome. If you've done everything you can to invite them to health and they're not changing, draw really strong boundaries. And know that it's going to be hard. There's going to be a voice in your head that screams at you. They might scream at you, the person you're drawing the boundaries on. And you just keep moving. Just keep moving. If you know why you started, you just keep moving. You don't feel like going to the gym today? Okay, take the day off, but you better go tomorrow. Just keep moving. You started a project and you stopped, and every time you walk by it, you're like, oh man, I can't believe I started that project. And now I haven't finished it. That's okay. Just pick it back up this weekend. Put an hour towards it and just keep moving. I want to be as transparent as I can be in these. The negative voice comes for all of us. And some of you might be listening to this. You might be thinking, Joe, I don't know who you're talking to. My year has been awesome. I want you to know that I am happy for you. And I mean that sincerely. That is fantastic. I am so glad that you have had a great year. I am. And yet I know that probabilities, hard times are coming for all of us, right? We have good times and we have hard times. We have easy times and we have bad times. That's fine. Live in this moment and enjoy it and prepare yourself, fortify yourself so that you can just keep moving. And I mean it. Enjoy the moment where it's good. Enjoy the moment. There's an interesting writing from ancient times. It's in the Bible. The Apostle Paul wrote it to the church at Ephesus, and he tells them that they should do this certain thing. They should clothe themselves a certain way, and he talks about certain characteristics. And he says so that they can stand. And then he says so that when you think you're standing, stand. And then when you are standing, stand. And I'm going to just kind of steal that from him. He's been dead a couple thousand years, so I don't think he's going to care. And I'm going to change it a little bit to just keep walking. Just keep moving. One step. When you think you're moving, keep moving. When you think you can't move anymore, move. When you know you've been moving and you just don't see the point and keep going on, remember why you started and just keep moving. Move, move, move. Now, I'm not saying don't rest. I'm not saying don't take time to find the things that you like. In fact, I would argue that doing things that are good for your soul are part of how we keep moving. We're going camping in a few weeks. And because of a variety of events, we've thought about canceling it. And we're going to go. Because it's good for my soul. It's good for me to sit around a campfire and ponder life. And to be recharged so that we can keep moving. I have a professional development that I've got to write the curriculum for. And it's due in just a few days. And I'm still taking time to write this podcast. Why? Because there are these ideas bouncing around in my head, and even the ones that I record that you don't hear, and there are a bunch of those, it's good for me to flesh out these ideas in this manner and just keep moving. Do things that are good for your soul. Find time for them. I have a swing in my front yard that I like to sit in and just swing back and forth 20 minutes. It's awesome. Find the things that nourish your soul. Find some perspective, right? In order to keep moving, we have to find some perspective. So sitting on that swing for me is perspective finding. Driving down the road, I can turn everything off in my truck. I have a drive. I live in a bedroom community for Grand Rapids. It's such a weird term. I live about 30 minutes from where I work typically. So I've got a 30-minute drive. Right? I can ponder a lot of things in that hour a day. It's about 20 minutes to our little office. Maybe 15 if my wife's driving. Right? Either way, find time to get perspective. Recognize that hard doesn't last forever. Grief doesn't last forever. It's really hit me hard this year that my mom's been gone 21 years. And so it does come in waves, but it doesn't last the same way forever. It is hard. I sit with people all the time, and it's just hard. Life is hard. And they're not sure what's going on. I live in a small community. I live adjacent to an even smaller community. I'm friends with a lot of people there, and there's two businesses that have been having a very public mudslinging contest war, and one of them lost their business. And there's drama there for everybody, and probably nobody's exactly innocent and nobody's exactly 100% guilty. But it's sad that somebody lost their business, right? Empathy is a good thing. That can help us finding empathy for other people. Now, empathy is not the same as comparative grief, right? And comparative grief is, well, who am I to lament that I've had a hard year because it wasn't as hard as so-and-so. They had cancer and I didn't have cancer. Yep, and their year was incredibly hard because they had cancer. There is no doubt about that. And you can feel for them that they had a hard summer. That's empathy. Somehow discounting how hard your summer was or your year was because you didn't have cancer, that's comparative grief, and it's almost always destructive. It's very rarely helpful. So have empathy, right? Find the things that nourish your soul. Find things that give you perspective. Read. Books. Stay out of the news, maybe, right? Like if that's something that makes your life harder, stay out of the news. But read. Find things to read. Read about other people. One of the things that I do, in fact, this morning as I was driving, my son and I had a haircut this morning, and so we're driving, and it's quiet in the truck when he had to wake up early. And I'm just looking at all the trees, and I'm wondering, I wonder what it was like 300 years ago here. Right? I wonder what it was like in the 1700s here? What was it like in the 1500s here? What was it like 2,000 years ago in Lowell, Michigan? What the people that were living here, what did they do? What did they go through? What were their troubles? What were their heartaches? What were their hard summers? What were their hard winters? What did they do when someone they trusted betrayed them? How did they move on? How did they grow? And then sometimes in doing that, we can create perspective for our own lives, right? Because most of the troubles that we're having, in fact, I'm willing to say none, I just don't like universals. None of the troubles that we are having are new. They've been around. So the question is, what will people 2,000 years from now be struggling with? Will they think about us? Probably, but they won't even know our names. And that's okay. We don't know their names from 2,000 years ago. But it can give us perspective. And in finding perspective, remembering that there have been people for millennia living where you live, struggling the way that you struggle, loving the way that you love, being hurt the way that you are hurt, can help us in our present day when our own troubles come. And it can help us have empathy for other people. So as you look into this upcoming fall, as you look to the end of the year, winter is coming, Christmas is coming, New Year's is coming, Thanksgiving is coming, one of my favorite, perhaps my favorite holiday. Lots of good things are coming, lots of hard things are coming. Can you keep moving? Why did you start? Why did you start? Whatever journey you're on, why did you start? And I think journey is one of those words that gets overused. I'm so sick of people selling weight loss. Join the weight loss journey today with we will give you 3 food-based meals for $69.99. That works out to be $3 and blah, blah, blah cents a meal. And you too can join this journey. Okay, there was my commercial. Hopefully you're laughing. Or you sell those things and now you're offended. But the word journey does get overused, but we are on a journey, right? Like we're all dying. I was talking to an intern this week, or a potential intern. And I said to her, I said, the reality is I know I'm dying. And she's like, really? What's wrong? I'm like, no, nothing that I know of. I mean, I'm not dying any faster than you would expect for a devilishly handsome middle-aged man to be aging. But I am aging, and aging literally means I'm dying. And I have to find this balance of doing meaningful things and soul care, self-care. I have to find this balance of I don't want to waste the time. And that means I'm going to fail. That means there are going to be things that are hard. That means I'm going to love people who use that love in terrible ways. That means that I'm going to have broken relationships. That means that there are going to be people in my life, and I know this because they're in your life too, because we're human, who I've had to draw boundaries around, and then they weaponize those boundaries as somehow they're the victim. And that's what makes life hard. We have to accept that life is hard, but more than that, we just have to keep moving. Why did you start? What do you want to do? Whatever it is. And I've had people tell me, what if I just want to raise my kids and live in a little house? Awesome. That will be hard too. So remember to know why you started. Because when the dark night comes, I want you to say, I know why I started, and I'm going to keep moving. Just one foot in front of the other. I don't have to play the whole game right now. I just got to get through the next minute. I don't even really have to get through the next minute. I just got to get through the next 10 seconds. And then when those 10 seconds are up, I just got to get through 10 more. Just don't quit. Don't underestimate the value of just not quitting. Do courageous things and don't quit. I believe in you. I really do. Whoever you are, I believe in you. All right. Thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please share with a friend. And hey, give us that rating in your podcast store. Until next time, change possible.